All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the time that you're watching this. Let's see, I'm just checking if I'm recording. I am recording. Perfect. Okay. So here's the thing. We're just going to be reviewing past continuous just a little bit. We already saw a little bit in class, but it shouldn't take too long. Right? I want you to keep in mind that past continuous is extremely important, especially for you as advanced students. All right, especially for you that know how to speak English a little bit more and know how to write it, especially those of you that struggle a lot when it comes to grammar and in writing. Past continuous is extremely important for you guys to actually express yourself and to actually talk a little bit more in English. All right, because for your goal is I want you guys to try and actually write me a story. I'm not gonna ask for it yet, okay? But that's going to be a goal for you guys to try and write a story, because we already talked about expression, right? And these few topics from the book are actually important for you, especially this one. Now, like I already explained, as you guys can see right here, the past continuous is used to talk about ongoing actions or events in the past. Okay? And that's how they're used. Now, keep in mind that these things are used quite well, actually. And you guys need to be careful how they're being used. So let's just review this real quick and how it's being used. All right. I'm just trying to check here if everything is good. Yeah, everything's good. So, as you guys can see, we have many different ways. We have first the positive. I was playing soccer. I don't know what I just wrote there. I was playing soccer. Okay? We also have a negative. I wasn't playing soccer. And we can also have it in question. Was he playing soccer? Okay, now let me change this one up a little bit. Okay? Because let's make it more in line with the two sentences. Were you? Always remember, you're going to be using was or were. Remember that was is used when it's I, he, she, and it. Okay? That's when you use was. And were is when it's you, we, and they. That's when it's were. So make sure you always keep that in mind. And also, it can help you also understand that was is always going to be singular and were is going to be plural. All right? Now, why is past continuous important? Why should I learn this? Well, here's the thing. Like I said in class, it's good for gossiping, even though I don't like it. It's good for gossiping. It's good for telling a story. It's good for telling your friends about your life. Okay? And it's also good for, well, telling people what you were doing. For example, right now I know for a fact that what's popular right now is that game called Among Us. I don't know if you played it or not. In Among Us, believe it or not, if you play this in English, this is what you're going to be using it. This is going to be your best friend. Why? Because let's talk about Among Us or like a detective for those of you that don't play it. Right? A detective story. If someone was killed or someone was hurt near you, the police are going to ask you, where were you? Right? They're going to ask you, where were you? You see? That moment they ask that is the when you're going to be, oh, well, I was cooking. I was cooking when the shooting happened, right? Or, oh, I was visiting my friend. I was visiting my friend. I wasn't even home. You see? We use past continuous to give ourselves an alibi. Alibi. I recommend you add this to your vocabulary list. What's an alibi? An alibi is pretty much telling the police your your excuse. It's just a fancy word for excuse, right? When police say, "Oh, he has a good alibi," it means that your excuse was good. It checked out. You know, it's like, "Oh yeah, I was visiting my parents yesterday. They talked to your parents. Oh yeah, he was here. All right, fine. Yep, he has a good alibi. You see what I mean? That's an alibi. Pretty much like a good excuse when it comes to, how can I say it? When it comes to, let's see, cases. Like, detective cases, murder cases, things like that. If you're a suspect, you're going to want an alibi. And how do you give an alibi? Past continuous. This took a turn for the worse. Now it feels like I'm training a bunch of murderers. I trust you. You are fine, right? All right, so here's the thing. Make sure you guys are using the past continuous. Now, past continuous is extremely important because, like I said, I want you guys to practice writing in past. And writing in past, remember, everything that continues onward has to be in past. Okay? It has to be in past. For example, I was playing soccer. I was playing soccer when I fell. And let me get rid of my ugly face out of here. When I fell and broke my leg. There's the story. Yeah, I was playing soccer when I fell and broke my leg. There. If you want to continue the story, you can. But you have to do like period and then, I had to go to the hospital. And they gave me a cast. Now let's analyze the sentence because it is extremely important for what I ask you to do. I was playing soccer. The moment you guys put that, you set the scene, right? Everything else that comes afterwards has to be in past. Notice, when I fell, broke my leg, I had to go to the hospital and they gave me a cast. Notice, all of these words are in past except for go. Now, why is go in present? Well, because had is here. Had is in past. You guys don't have to put two, when you guys are using two verbs together, remember we saw that? Some verbs use to and some words use ing. You guys don't have to put all of that together, okay? You guys don't have to really do all of that. For example, you guys can put just I had to go. Had is the only word you have to change. For example, I liked to listen to music. Notice listen is in present, but liked is in past, right? Or I went is in past. I went, let's see, to visit in present. I went to visit my grandma. Whenever there are two verbs, it's only the first verb that you guys have to change in past. The second one stays the same. You don't change it. Make sure you keep that in mind. Okay? And that's it. That's all you have to do. Right? That's all you have to do. And you guys can continue on the story. I was playing soccer when I fell and broke my leg. I had to go to the hospital and they gave me a cast. And then if you guys want to switch, and this I'm telling you guys to you, if you guys want to switch to present, you guys have to change the subject, okay? You guys have to change the subject. Now, for example, in this, I had to go to the hospital and they gave me a cast. It hurts a lot. You guys can continue with it hurts. I don't know why I was going to put hurts. It hurts a lot. Okay? The moment you guys say it hurts a lot, you start changing it to present. Why? Well, you're not saying, oh yeah, it hurt in past tense. No, because it's still painful, right? It's still broken. So you guys, yeah, it still hurts, my shoulder hurts a little bit. I struggle to wake up in the morning and, it's hard to eat breakfast with just one. Notice how I'm talking. I'm going to repeat it one more time. I'm going to say everything together and I want you to listen. This part of listening practice. Yeah, I was playing soccer when I fell and broke my leg, dude. I had to go to the hospital and they gave me this cast, right? And you know what? It hurts a lot. All right. I struggled to wake up in the morning. I struggled to put on my shirt. And it was really difficult to eat breakfast this morning. You see? I switched everything. I went to it hurts a lot. Then I switched it back to past. Why? Because it hurts a lot is still present. I'm switching the topic to the pain. You know, it hurts a lot. Then I went back to talk about what happened in the morning. I struggled to wake up. I struggled to put on my shirt. I had trouble to eat breakfast with one hand, right? I went from present to past. You guys have to make sure you're doing that. Make sure you can do that because one, the reason why we put hurt in present is because it still hurts, right? It's still pain. There's still pain. But we went back to past because we went talking about what we did in the morning. And that's where many of you guys tend to struggle in because you guys don't do that. You guys tend to just do this past, present, 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 past, present, present, past, present, present, and I get confused. For example, you guys talking about, oh yeah, last year I went to vacation into Mazatlan. All right, I went to vacation to Mazatlan, and I visit my grandma, and I work. I work at Kentucky. If you guys do that, you're confusing me because you're doing it. You're telling me different things. You're telling me, oh, last year I went to Mazatlan. Period. I visit my grandma. You're telling me two different things. You're telling me last year you went to Mazatlan, but now, like now, every day you visit your grandma. You see how confusing it could be if you don't keep it in past? Because if you say, oh, last year I went to Mazatlan, that's where I think you ended the sentence. That's where I think you ended. I don't think your grandma, and then you could say, I visit my grandma. Your grandma lives in Mazatlan because that's what you're saying. Oh, I visited my grandma. All right. You're just telling me, oh, I visit my grandma. I work at Kentucky. You're just telling me things that you maybe you don't do anymore. But you're telling me that you still do them. And that is where the problem is. That's why if you guys are talking about the past, if you're talking about last year vacation, everything you did has to be in past. So make sure you keep that in mind, okay? And the question form is just simple. The question form is just so you guys can express yourself and ask someone. For example, you see someone coming in and they're bruised. Whoa, dude, were you playing soccer outside in the rain? See? Right? Or if you're going to be a detective playing Among Us or something like that. All right, let's see. Okay, David, what were you doing in electrical? You see what I mean? And that's why you guys need to be careful. I recommend that you guys keep on practicing. The best way you guys can practice it is to write about a past event that happened to you. It could be embarrassing, it could be fun, it could be something interesting. Oh, teacher, my life is boring. I do nothing interesting. Tell me about something you were watching on TV, or tell me something that happened when you were playing a video game. You see? Tell me. But not yet. That's going to be later. All right. So this is what I want you guys to do. What I want you guys to do for today. Let's see, where is it? All right, here it is. First, I want you guys to identify which actions take a while and which actions are usually just past and things that happened in the past. Here we have S, that you're going to put an S for things that are ongoing past situations. In other words, things that take a time. And you're going to put A for a past action or event. In other words, an event that just happened. That's it. What do I mean by that? Well, look at this. When Charlotte Tyndall was preparing blank to move to London to study music, was preparing. What is it? An ongoing past situation or a past action? Was preparing. Did she take a while are we with by saying was preparing? Are we saying that she was taking a while to prepare? Yes, she was. Right? So it's a situation that was taking a while in the past, was ongoing. All right. Her college suggested student housing at a price of 1,000 euros per month. Is that euros or pounds? I can't tell anymore. All right. So suggested. The college suggested. Is it the college, took a time to do it? They probably held a meeting, or they just like suggested it, probably mentioned it fast or mentioned it casually. They usually mention it casually, right? Is it for example, the teacher suggested that we should listen to music to practice English. Okay? It's better to use suggested because the teacher was suggesting that we use now it doesn't apply unless you guys are in the class and I'm still talking about it. You guys know I love to talk. I know it's my only downfall. I'm just playing. But that's something that I recommend that you guys try to do. So try to do the same for the rest. Try to see which ones are ongoing and which ones are short. It's going to be pretty simple. You just have to see if it has were or if it has ing. If it has ing and was or were, it's usually ongoing, okay? Now for this one, you guys have to choose past simple or past continuous, okay? And the verb that is. Now this one's going to be a little harder. You guys have to really see the context and really see what's going on. For example, notice here, when Yinka Yori blank, his parents often blank him to think about becoming an engineer. Grow up. Advice. There are two ways to see what is going to go in each one. One, here is when. We're talking about when. When can be used for past continuous and simple past, of course. But since we're talking about when, it's already letting us know that we're using a connector, that we're talking about a time. Grow up. Grow up, going from 1 year old, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 years old. For example, you guys are still growing up. Is this a fast activity or a something that takes some time? It takes time, right? You guys are still growing up. Right? When Yinki Yori was growing up, his parents often advice. When people give you advice, is it usually, when we talk about it, is it usually like something fast or something that takes time? Yes, I know. You guys can say, well, what if the person is giving me advice and they're talking for a long time? Yes, but when we relate to that, what are we going to say? Yeah, he was giving me advice or he advised? Advised. His parents often advised, especially because we're talking about often. In other words, they did it quite a bit. Often advised him to think about becoming an engineer. Instead, when he finished high school, he blank to study furniture design. Now, here we have the word choose. Now, what is it going to be? He chose or he was choosing? The key word here is study furniture design. I have a question for you, and this will help you decide. All right. Is he still choosing or is he decided already? He already knows what he's going to study. He knows what he's going to study, right? He's going to study furniture design. So, since he already knows, it's not going to be in continuous. It's going to be just past, right? He chose to study furniture design. Okay? The next one. 3 years after, he blank graduate, while he blank to develop his own style. Now, the word graduate, yes, I know. Graduating, it could be, oh yeah, I was graduating or graduated. Remember the words. Graduating, when we're using graduating, we're talking about the graduation. When we said graduated, We just mentioned, oh yeah, we graduated, but we're not talking about the graduation, right? That's it. So here the question is, what's next? Do we continue talking about the graduation or not? We don't, right? We just mentioned that he graduated. That means it's going to be in past because we don't continue talking. Now, if we're going to talk about the graduation, yes. Oh yeah, 3 years after he was graduating, you know, he was graduating, he crashed his car. And with that, we understand that during the graduation, he crashed his car. You see, during. Now here, notice the key word here is while. Every time, now this one is while, right? While, normally when we use the word while, is we're going to be talking about past continuous because we're talking about while, while an event was happening. Okay? I recommend that you guys try to do the rest yourselves. Okay, it's going to be the rest. If you don't have the book, you can pause it right here. And that's it. That's all you guys have to do. Also, you guys are also going to be doing page 130. 131, actually. You're going to do example 6 right here. If you don't have the book, guys, please get the book. If you guys don't get the book, I'm going to start knocking points off your grade. You guys have to start getting your book. You're going to do 7, which is choose one of the two, like you see right here. And you're going to do 8. 8 is the same that we did just now. Simple past and past continuous. Okay? You guys have to decide what's going to go in each one. Now, in the first one, I forgot to mention, all you're going to do is just add was or were and change the verb with ing. That's it. Because you're only talking about past continuous. See? We're living. All right. Remember, if you have any other questions or you want to see how you did, you can send me a message. I'm very interested in this one, especially for you guys, because this is extremely necessary if you want to write well and you want to tell a story. And I want to talk about you guys, and I want to show you guys how you guys can start writing stories, But for now, this is where we're going to leave it. All right. Remember, if you have any questions, make sure to message me or to ask me, okay? Through any other medium. Other than that, take care and have a great day. All right. I hope you're not too stressed out with the rest of your classes.